Not so good at the moment.
Oh no.
Swelling of the breast again a couple times, so it is getting a couple times more punctuated there. So.
Okay, is that expected or?
No, not really. Not really. Well, for the better. Yeah.
All right, so everybody ready? I would like to welcome everybody to the quarterly meeting of the Delaware Sister City Advisory Board. It's October the 11th, and I'd like to begin by taking roll call. Elaine?
Mr. Bartha?
Here.
Ms. Miller?
Here.
Ms. Sally Greider?
Here.
Ms. Teets? Here. Councilman Jones? Mayor Riggle? Vice Chairman Kopp? And Chairman Bieber.
Here. Thank you. All right. Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting? Oh, yes. Yes. Do we have a motion to excuse Chris and Will and Carolyn?
I'll make a motion.
And I second it.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bartha?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Sally Greider?
Yes.
Ms. Teets?
I need to abstain, correct? For the minutes approval?
No, this is
Oh.
to excuse Councilman Jones.
Yes, sorry.
And Chairman Bieber.
Yes. All right. Thank you. So we will move on now to the approval of the minutes from our last meeting. So,
You don't have to abstain if you've read the minutes and
Okay.
are comfortable with them. That's
Okay,
It's up to you,
okay.
but you're more welcome to.
so is there a motion or any comments about the minutes? No? Would someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
Well, I make the motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you, Rita.
Second.
We have a second. So,
Mr. Bartha?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Ms. Sally Greider?
Yes.
Ms. Teets?
Yes.
Chairman Bieber.
yes. All right, well, I'd like to welcome our visitor and guest tonight. Kim Young is here. Many of you probably know Kim. She's a French teacher at Hayes and has the illustrious honor of being the sponsor for the Global Studies program at Hayes. So, Kim, would you like to just update us a little bit on what's happening there? Sure, you can.
Okay.
And she
I can stand
also,
here, I can stand up.
and Kim also traveled with students to Baumgartner several years ago.
Yes, Kim has a lot of experience
Many Sister City
that
connections.
we can tap into here. This may not be the last time that we see Kim. So, Kim, tell us what is happening now at Hayes.
Okay, so we've kind of been trying to catch up. We got approval and the funds were paid for by our anonymous donor. So we're starting off at the beginning of the year trying to build the program and lay the foundation. We're actually starting the program and our first group of kids will be going to the first experience sponsored by Global Scholars Diploma, the Columbus Council of World Affairs, November 3rd.
Oh, really? You're going to do something already this year?
Yes, we are. So we've been working really hard. We had meetings we advertised last week of September, we had meetings with students to directly advertise and kind of explain the program. And then just last night, we had a parent meeting for students who were interested. And we should have permission slips and essentially participants ready for the program by the end of next week. And then the following week, we'll be attending our first experience at the Franklin Park Conservatory.
How many people did attend? Did you have a lot of?
We had approximately 40-ish
Wow.
students who said that they were interested,
Wow,
just
that's a big
from the
number.
students. It is, because our target was 25. And I was
Wow.
greatly concerned that we would not be able to come up in such a short time frame with a lot of students. But we had 40 that said initially they were interested. We'll see who, upon reflection, completes the application and has parental approval. And it's a great program, so I don't anticipate parental approval being an issue, but just, the kids being willing to commit to the program. It's a 3-year program. And it's just in its infancy. So when kids say, well, what about, we're like, well, we're going to figure that out as we go along. You know, we're just building it this year. So, but it seems like a really great program. What other schools have done. I went to Granville High School, and they actually have a class at their high school for Global Scholars, and they were doing some great things. I'd really like for our program to expand beyond what the Council and the Global Scholars Diploma provides, which are the 4 experiences, and then like the follow-up or enrichment experiences that are online. I'd really like it to move beyond that and have some more requirements. But we'll see. Like I said, I mean, we started at the beginning of school, and so we're really trying to very quickly lay a foundation, build some structure, and come up with a vision.
Are these all freshman students or freshmen, sophomores, or?
Our target students are freshmen, but we do have a couple of sophomores who are like, I see something, what about this? Annika's one of them. We had another student who's a sophomore who asked about it as well. So it's primarily freshmen, mostly freshmen. And then we'll age them up, sophomore, junior.
You got funding through the Council on World Affairs. Did you apply?
No, we got Aaron Cook, our Director of Curriculum, Secondary Curriculum. He wrote a grant request from the anonymous donor who donates for different things to the
Delaware
school.
County Community Foundation.
Oh, the foundation.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, I always call it the
That's
anonymous donor. Is that like old language or old terminology?
Affairs, though, didn't you?
They are the ones who administer the Global Scholars
Oh,
Diploma
okay,
program.
okay.
So
Did they come to one of our meetings?
The Columbus Sister City
Right.
organization came here. Tim Sword
Right.
and Jamie Sisto came once. I don't think anybody from the Columbus Council on World Affairs has been to one of our meetings. They've been to the school to meet with
correct,
Paul
Right.
Kraft
several
and
times, yeah.
Rick and that sort of thing.
Okay.
They
I
probably-
went-
did you
I
meet
went with
them?
Mr. Kraft last spring to their kind of spring wrap up that the Columbus Council on World Affairs puts on
Okay.
each spring with all of the representatives of their partnering companies and organizations. And that was I guess that was a year and a half ago. And that was as we were starting to explore the Global Scholars Program in Delaware. So it kind of took off from there.
That's a great,
Yep.
that's a real plus. So the donor is funding this program, the anonymous donor.
Yes,
through the
for this
foundation.
year, because it's,
Okay.
I don't know all the specifics of all the money, but they essentially have funded our inclusion for this year, which includes up to 50 students. And then after that, Aaron says we can reapply for grants, or we'll have to see whether the school will fund it one way or another.
Okay.
I have also talked to some other people about funding
Funding,
this program. So there's some other things possible, I think.
Okay,
So,
good, because I would hate to, work on it and build this up, and I really think it's a good program. I mean, the program seeks to build cultural awareness, not even just, not our community, not our state, not our country, but globally, hence the title, Global Scholars, but cultural awareness and critical thinking skills, and how can we work with other countries to tackle some of these world issues. Can't think of anything more important than doing something like that, addressing issues that face, all of us. So I would hate to see, to work on this and bring a good program and not be able to continue it. So I really hope there's, funding out there in one fashion or another.
yeah, it was always the intention for it to go on for indefinitely.
Yes,
That
yes.
was always the intention
Yes.
of this. So I think that for me, one of the things that's interesting is we have this program with Cicada that you're going to talk about in a few minutes. But we've got children at Dempsey who are, getting some experience with people from Cicada, so they can pursue that when they get to, if they're interested, can pursue that when they get to Hayes. And then Will's not here tonight, but he told me in an email that they have also gotten a grant to start a global studies program at Ohio Wesleyan.
Yes.
So this is another thing on the other side of Hayes, so you've got something on the Dempsey side of Hayes as far as students go, and then something at Ohio Wesleyan on the other side that's very similar to this. So,
And we met with Ohio Wesleyan to see what kind of partnerships we could form to help support the Global Scholars Program at the high school. And we're meeting again this Thursday.
okay.
To see, what courses do they offer if we wanted to eventually offer some kind of college credit plus pathway, or what kinds of resources if we want to enrich the kids' experience on a given topic from a different perspective than our own, bringing in speakers, because they have students that are trained to come in and talk about their experiences, to other students at the college level, the high school level. We've looked at that. What other kind of multicultural, are they having multicultural fair? Is there what kinds of activities they have that we could piggyback off of, or, take our kids to, or even just advertise and see, even if 2 or 3 kids were to go and do something else and meet some other people and, find out a little bit more about another culture. We are trying to work that angle. Aaron's kind of taking the lead on that.
Okay.
So, yes.
But it's actually pretty good because we had just said last time, we're going to start a series more or less where we go a little bit in different sister cities, also the countries. Starting off with Germany, getting also a little bit the companies that are the German companies on the boat, and then going maybe to Jakarta or Russia or whatever, get some speakers there, and make a little bit hands-on stuff. So that's a good thing to interact there as well.
Yes. I
Yeah.
agree.
Good one. Yeah.
Yes, we would like our this program to be involved with our sister cities. So that's a big something we would like to be able to offer.
Yes.
So, and I mean, the fact that you've got 40 students who are interested is good. I think kids are interested in international things.
That's really good considering, we did 1 week of flyers and we did not talk to every 9th grade class. We only talked to maybe 7 teachers, 7 different classes. Like, we targeted them. So out of just that limited exposure, and we've got 40 kids, if, as the kids age up, and then, they'll talk about their experiences, and we might have a bigger pool the following year and the following year. It could grow, and I don't know about exponential growth, but, 40 for something that we've advertised for like a week, some text reminds, some flyers, and, some in-class presentations. We were very pleased. So, I think the interest is there.
Okay. Kim, can you just wait there for a second? Dan, do you want to talk a little bit about the Cicada visit
Sure.
and how that's going?
So this is the 19th year that Dempsey Middle School will host a visiting delegation of students, teachers, administrators from Cicada, Japan. Jenny Nicely is the 8th grade counselor this year at Dempsey. And she, I think for the past 8 to 10 years, she has organized the Cicada visit and has done that again this year. So we have 20 students coming at the end of October. And I think just in the last week, we've got each of their host families placed. So the students will arrive to Dempsey. We always have a welcome assembly for them when they arrive, and then they meet their host student and family there on the spot. And then they go right ahead and spend the school day there at Dempsey. So they, it's a long day for them, just because they've basically just arrived that morning, but they're usually so excited just to have arrived. And then they spend the school day. They spend, I think, 3 or 4 days at school. They have a weekend where they do some different activities around Central Ohio. And I know last year they went to Washington, D.C. after leaving Delaware. I'm not sure if that's still the case this year. But like I said, all 20 are hosted at this point, as well as the teacher. We have a new ESL teacher at Dempsey, Brittany King, and she's going to be hosting the teacher. So that's been great, and happy that she stepped up early into her teaching career with us. So we're really very excited just to be maintaining this cultural exchange for close to 20 years now. So
Would it be possible to have the delegation attend one of the council meetings? How long will they be here?
they are here. I believe they arrive on. It's October 28th, and then
Okay.
I think they leave on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a quick
Yeah. 'cause
it's a
we've
quick
got-
visit.
It'd be nice if we could make an arrangement for the mayor to be part of some greeting delegation, just because it will build on the sister city.
Yeah, and I think she and Rand both attended the assembly last year, and
Mhm.
I would certainly welcome
Good.
anyone from the advisory board or
She might even be able to
Mhm.
give them something that they can take back
Mhm.
to the,
Yep.
because it's,
And last year was unique because you had the visiting
Right.
city delegation as well. So not the case this year, but yeah, if what would be the most appropriate way
I
to
think probably
reach
a
out?
proclamation, have Jenny, whoever's coordinating,
Mm-hmm.
from maybe we'll reach out with Rand, and Rand can coordinate with Carolyn, just to figure out when
Mhm.
they arrive and.
Well, it'll be 7:45 on Friday, October 28th is when the welcome assembly will be.
7:45 on October 28th.
Yes.
Okay. Well, just for a little bit of a historical background, it was at the meeting 2 years ago that Carolyn gave to the head of the teacher group,
Right.
of the chaperones, a invitation letter for people from Secaucus, from Secaucus City Council to come and visit us. So that's what led to the visit the following year, was the fact that we had given them a letter 2 years ago. So I think that was a really meaningful opportunity to give them something, and that got the ball rolling. And now 2 years later, we're going back, and so.
I would like to be interested also to know the numbers, when you started out, what was the number situation there and to now? You say 19 years, so
Right.
that's interesting to look at.
Yeah, and I know the last 2 years, it's always been around 20 students who come.
Okay.
So I could look back with Jenny and see
Uh-huh.
if we have some
Yeah.
some figures on how
Okay.
many have come
Yeah,
each
would be
year.
interesting to look at them, yeah.
Yeah.
Just also for interest, Saskia Brogan, who was, you probably know Saskia, her family hosted a Secaucus student, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. And now she's graduated from Hayes this past May, and she's planning to spend 3 months in
Oh,
Japan.
wow.
And she wants to go to Secaucus when the city council delegation is there, which might be sort of a nice thing in a way. So I don't know if we can coordinate that, but she's interested in doing that. So
Great.
Very nice.
Well, I'll put that down. Do we need to, how do we confirm that? Should we have Jenny call us, or,
Yeah,
confirm,
well, Carolyn and,
that she's going to come.
yeah,
and
and what? should
have
we-
a piece. In
Yeah,
the-
right.
Okay, I'll talk to Jenny tomorrow.
Okay.
We-
She can
one of
just
us
work through my
will-
office, it's fine.
One of us will coordinate with you.
Okay.
yeah, if you copy me, I will,
Okay.
I would like to, although we have this election coming up, I'll be working a lot. I would like to come to this if I can slip away for.
There's an election.
Just the road levy, that's the only thing that matters.
All right. Well, can you wait for just a further minute? Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Dan. Can we move on in the agenda here a little bit so, Tom, you can tell us a little bit about what's being planned for the visit next April?
Yeah, I shared with Rand an email that we received from the individual in Sakata who is responsible for coordinating the visit that we're going to be making next spring. This is the person he replaces
Rita,
who attended as a delegation member last year. And he's asking a number of questions about the size of the delegation and that type of thing. But our tentative plan is, the 3rd of April to the 22nd. And what we have to figure out is who will be representing the city. I know the mayor and I are interested in attending. And when they visited us last year, they had kind of a diverse group. They had a representative of higher education. They had a representative of education.
Chamber of Commerce.
Chamber of Commerce. And so one question is, do we take a look at perhaps some type of a delegation that would look like that? I'm not, that's something that doesn't have to be decided this evening, but it's will have to be decided at some point soon. And there's a reference in that letter to them paying the cost, but I don't think they pay our travel, but we have to get that clarified.
Right, I imagine that they will take care of you while you're there.
Yeah, and getting around and all of that, that's typically the case. And that was the case when we went to Baumholder, and that was the case when the Baumholder delegation came here. So, so I don't know, is there any interest, who would be interested from the Sister City Committee? Is there an interest in having someone, a member of the committee, yourself, Rand, or somebody else who?
I would love to go, but I am stuck with my situation in Germany.
Okay.
Cannot do anything.
Please think about it. I mean, I'm interested in going, but I've been to Japan a number of times, and I would really like it if other people could go who haven't been to Japan. I think that would be great if people who have not been to Japan could be part of this delegation.
And my thinking is, should there be some from the schools, we should probably have a representative from the schools, in as much as this all started because of
Okay, what? Okay. See, all eyes are looking at me.
because we started, this would not have started with the relationship with the school, so it seemed to make sense to have, I don't know.
I mean, would you want to talk all about that?
Yeah, find out what Paul might think in terms of,
Right.
it might be somebody in administration, it might be a teacher.
Yeah, I think
board member.
I think that's really important, because I think the reality is
Started.
that as time goes on, there will be a lot of students in high school in this program who may have an interest in going to Sakata or working with students in Sakata. So I think if one of the high school, somebody from the high school could go, that would work, that would help the program. They would have some experience, they would know some people there, that would be really helpful.
Now, April 13th, you're back. Spring break.
That is, it looks like that's, I was just looking it up. Looks like that's, it's the Wednesday of spring break. That's the Thursday. The Thursday of spring break. Then the following week is a normal week. That's Easter weekend. It's a normal weekend. I know I have the Washington DC trip coming up very shortly after that. So yeah, I'm not sure what Paul's thoughts would be. So
Yeah.
My suggestion is that, and I spoke to Carolyn about this, was that if she could think about who she wanted to do the delegation, say sooner rather than later, because it becomes more difficult to plan things, because you do have to take a long trip here, and you may have to pay some of your own way, so that's also a consideration.
Yeah, this is not unlike the delegations that visit us. When we went to Baumholder, we paid our own way. I think Rotary gave us they helped subsidize it a little. But yeah, we'd leave on tentatively Thursday the 13th, and then return that following Saturday, which probably makes sense. It's just the travel alone is a couple of days.
So if any of you have an interest in going, and I will mention this to Will also, that would be really good, because I think probably by the time of our next meeting, we should know who's going to go. Would that be fair, Tom?
Yeah,
By the time of our meeting in January?
Yeah, does he indicate in there that suggested the number. I think they
He
would,
says we expect 5 to 6 delegates.
yeah, so I think 6 would be a good, I think that'd be 2 people from the city, maybe a school representative, somebody from the university, some from this community, and somebody perhaps from Sister City.
Mhm.
What's the cost you're looking at?
I think it's between, Michelle was telling me, flights now between 1,200 and, or, I mean,
Depends when you.
I think to
200 to
travel from
4,000,
here to
okay.
Secada is going to cost about $1,500 if you book early,
right,
$1,500.
right. If you booked before the end of the year, or early part of it.
Right, if you didn't wait till the last minute, so.
I mean, what does it cost? I mean, the trips to Canada that you take are what, cost-wise? You take.
I usually go to Paris, and they're 1,600 ballpark figure. Super cheap would be like 1,200 with 2 layovers and 24 hours of travel time, and
Right.
then the more direct it is, the more expensive it gets. So, I mean, that's on par with,
So,
what it
it
costs to
is.
travel, yeah.
And
Paris or
Brazil
London or
is-
Barcelona.
True, say 6 plus 4, 10 hours. Yes.
Cost to go-
Like 1,300.
Okay,
from
so
here.
it's really not, even though it's much longer.
Yeah, it's not much more price-wise, yeah.
So I think it really, Carolyn agreed that she would try to work on a delegation, but probably she's not here. Maybe she has other things that to take up her time. But I can work with you, Tom, on this.
Yeah,
that
when
we
she
can
gets
talk
back.
about that.
It would be nice to have a university representative, a city school representative, a sister city representative.
And I think we will engage a Japanese someone who speaks Japanese to be with us. There will be somebody who just is with us. So
Maybe you can even, go with Yuko, that'd be better, but she's so often also in Japan. That might even be.
yeah, I have friends in Japan who could be those kind of people
Yeah.
who we need somebody of our own to advise us
Yeah.
on protocol and so forth.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we will possibly embarrass ourselves. to some
Yeah,
extent.
I look at,
So-
I just quickly add up, if you have an OWU representative, a representative of the city schools, 2 representatives from the city, a representative from Sister City, and it could be, if it's not somebody within Sister City, it could be somebody who
We nominate,
you nominate.
right.
And a representative from the Chamber of Commerce. So you've covered business, higher ed.
Our Delaware city school system, which I think is important.
Yeah, that would be the Board of Education, it's the board, the schools.
Right.
And it would be myself and Carolyn, and then somebody Sister City Chamber. That gives us 6.
Mhm.
So that might be the delegation. It's just the question is there anybody on this committee? You guys have an interest, Aaron? Do you?
Well, there's definitely interest, but I don't know if it'd be realistic for me for a couple of reasons, but I will just take myself out, even though it seems like a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, hopefully there will be others. If this is the start of.
I think there will be other opportunities to go to Secada. I really believe that.
I do think that in connection with the establishment of the relationship that we hopefully can get that formalized in some way. And the Sister City International organization, which we joined last year and rejoined this year, has different categories of sister cities. And one of them is a friendship city. It's not as formal. It's kind of the first step before you step into the formal sister city relationship. So I would hope that we would, when we visit, that would be one of the outcomes, is to formalize that in some way.
Right. I think Secada
And that
has
was,
2 friendship city relationships with a city in China and one in Russia, I think. So I think we're their first American sort of sister city, if you want to call it that, but how they think about it, I'm not sure either.
Right.
So, well, thank you, Tom.
so that's an update on that. I don't know about Baumholder, were you going to talk about some of the inroads you made?
Oh, look, yeah, I was going to talk a little bit about that. Your daughter, Sarah, went to Baumholder.
She had a great time, and she enjoyed it a lot, and I think has enriched her understanding of the country and the culture. And I think one of her essays is about it, I think. Just her, some of her time that she spent there. So, and hopefully that will continue. I know, Rand, you've been trying to.
Yes, should we move on? I mean, we covered
that's fine,
item
yeah.
4 here on the agenda.
Yeah,
We covered 3, 4. Should we move on to 5 on the agenda? Baumholder update. I think it fits in here. Yeah, Sarah went and I think had a very good time. That was my feeling too from talking to her. And I had a great time when I was there in April. It was so, you know, you imagine things, and I've been in Germany a lot, but it's always, there's so much more to go there and see what it really looks like and what's really there. And I think that was really meaningful for me. I really felt like I wanted to go back and see it again and do some more things there. So that's good. It's good. So that I felt like I wanted to go back, and that there was more things that I could explore and do, people to meet, and there's a lot of interesting things around Baumholder. And Baumholder is interesting for Americans because of the base there, the Army post. That's something really unique. There's this strong American presence. Tom, you want to say something?
Well, that's what I think gave it some of its identity, was the fact that that base is there, and that became base for the Americans, and that's where the connection started with Delaware. Was one of our Delaware residents was a commander on the base, and he lived here in Delaware. His sister is the
In Brandeberry.
Yeah, Ann
Band.
Yeah. Her brother was the commander, and made us aware of that, and we were made aware of the fact that the soccer team had established that relationship through Jay Martin and his roots in Germany and his soccer program. And so it's grown, but I think it has slowed down a little because there was a change in administration, and Rand is trying to keep it going kind of on at least on the school side. That's the.
And their school structure changed as well. I believe there was some consolidation.
Yes.
And so I don't think the school I don't think the students who visited, I don't think that school is still in the same capacity that it was.
Yeah, they closed it, yeah.
Mhm.
Close to high school.
Consolidated to work with a larger school where I think you've had,
Yes.
I think you've had some communications, right?
Well, when I was there, I should also say that Tom and I have both been to the Kuzel Rotary Club. There's a Rotary Club not so far from Baumholder, and this Rotary Club they have a lot going for them, I think. And so they introduced me to the principal of the Kuzel Gymnasium, which is the local high school there. And so they arranged for me to visit there on very short notice when I was there in April. So I went and visited the high school the morning I was leaving Baumholder. So I just drove from the high school back to Poland. And
Lucky you.
but Angelica Groneveld Olthoff, she has a double barrel last name. Angelica is the principal there, and she would be a great partner for us. Her husband worked for Hewlett Packard for a while. She's lived in the United States. She speaks perfect English, and she knows America. So that's really helpful. So, and she's really, I think she's quite excited about this, that she could send students from her school to America. So I think that I was just asking Kim before if Rick had a chance to talk to her about this, but I think there is a lot of potential there with the Kuzel Gymnasium. Partially because Angelica speaks such good English and has so much experience with America.
Would there be a plan at when would the next delegation, like when would the next delegation maybe go over?
Well,
18 or 17 for the schools?
I think what would be good, Jay Martin's going to take his soccer team over there next summer.
Okay.
So they're going to go and play soccer over there. But also, they are, I think, planning to dedicate their museum in April next year. So that would be a good thing for some people to go to.
Yeah.
And I would like to put you, Rita, in touch with Ingrid Schwertner, who is she's the curator of the museum.
Okay.
And I mean, you can speak to her in German, but her English is all, she speaks very good English and everything. So, but I think she's about your age too, and I think that it would be, you could talk to her about that, how the museum is developing and what time, when they hope to have a dedication. So.
Okay.
And then the Rotary, the short-term program that you're talking about, also the summer program.
Right, that's another thing. Kim has a few students that are interested in going to the Baumholder area through our Rotary Exchange program. So we'll see if we can organize that for next summer. That would be something.
Okay, 17.
Yeah, for the summer of 17.
They're just over there for a few weeks?
Yeah, they're over there for 4 to 6 weeks, and then the student from Baumholder or Kusel or Birkenfeld or wherever would come over here to Delaware for 4 to 6 weeks.
At the same time, or would it be?
Sequentially.
Oh, okay.
It's a family-to-family exchange, which actually is a good model for some other things we could consider doing.
Good.
So I think there's a lot of things out there that can develop in Baumholder. I'm quite optimistic about that. I think we've got some good contacts there. Even if Peter Lang is kind of leading the scene as mayor, because Peter was somebody that contacted us easily. I mean, Tom knew Peter very, very well. So we're sort of sad to lose Peter, and we don't know how the city administration will develop, I think the mayor doesn't speak English so well. I think that's one of the problems a little bit. But I think we have enough contacts there to move through that. And I think that's something that sister cities will always have challenges about. When the city administrations change, is the new administration interested? But if we have things like what's going on at Dempsey or other contacts like playing soccer, we're not so dependent on the city administration.
But I think also, if there's someone that is excited about the theme and about the sister city, with the schools and such things, that's gonna bring sparkles over. I don't have any doubt.
Yeah.
Even if there's a new mayor, I
Right.
would imagine that this lady is gonna bring the fire over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm optimistic about Baumholder. I don't see that. I'm sorry that Peter is not in the administration of Baumholder anymore, because Peter was really a great person to work with. Great person. But we have to move on, and we will. So, shall we leave Baumholder? Does anyone have anything they would like to say about things with Baumholder?
Again, I'd love to go too at some point, but I'm just so, I don't know what my future brings in the next half year.
Right, but this will go on too
Yeah.
for indefinitely, I think.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we can
Well, I'm
do.
not sure if I'm going to be indefinitely in here.
Okay. Well, leading on to item 6 on the agenda of Omutninsk. Omutninsk is, I haven't heard anything from Natasha, our English teacher at the high school there. I'm not sure that means anything. Probably not. It's just a lack of communication. But I think that, personally, I would like to go to Olympics next year. And I'm kind of trying to keep that on my planning, how to do it. It doesn't cost very much to go there. I might have mentioned that in my email. I think I can fly there for $1,500 and go to Poland and visit my daughter at the same time for that $1,500. So, because I think without a visit, I think it's going to be tough to develop a new relationship with the Omutnins just by email. think that's not probably going to be.
No, you need a visit.
I think a visit is really important. And one of the things that's really nice or encouraging for me is that Tom Herring, who lives here in Delaware and teaches at Hayes. I mean, you must know Tom too. I mean, Tom studied in Russia and speaks some Russian. I think he's very interested in whether we can establish some contacts with Omutnitsk. So I think that's a really nice thing, at least because Elena Lubenitz was someone who was helping us too. I think we need people who can speak some Russian and who have some Russian background to help this situation.
Yeah. I was just wondering if it would be also an idea to maybe establish a Facebook page or a group, from the different sister cities, and get there a little bit the things rolling too, like you had it there when you were with your students in Germany, and connect all the strings a little bit together, and we hook up too, and we'll, make some comments and keep the thing a little bit alive too, and send some pictures and, keep things a little bit on the flow here too. If that might be at some point a good and right idea too, that we would pick up. I know there has been quite a good engagement in the time when you have been over there with your group.
Yeah, and Sarah's been back kind of as a follow-up from her visit with you and so forth. I'm not very good at social media. I don't even have a Facebook page. So.
Well, I think that's a good idea. I think that's a good idea putting like Facebook or any other mediums, so we get more people.
Yes.
More involved, and a constant flow of kind of back and forth, pictures and whatever, fun things, historical things, all kinds of things.
We can post them on our Facebook, and we have 9,000 followers, so we can post them on ours. It's not a problem. We just have to, if somebody wants to work with Lee about that, we can work with him on that. We can do that.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think there's a lot can be done. I think part of it is just putting people having the resources, the time, the interest to do that. And that's one of the things that's attractive about the Global Scholars Program is that, you've got 25 students or 50 next year if they continue, 75 the year after that in total together. That there's a lot of kind of people who might be interested in doing something like this. Creating some kind of Facebook page, or I see that as something that young people would be more likely to do maybe than us. Does that make sense, to create social media things? I think that might be something also for them in a way.
But it's not a huge thing either to do that as a it's not a huge
Yeah,
thing.
I only say because I don't know.
Yeah.
For me, I don't do that.
Yeah.
So. But I do recognize that there's a lot of that out there. There's a lot of social media stuff, and you can learn so much now. There's so much things.
And it would just be a way, to have closer connections or closer interaction, as a more continuous way of interaction, not a monument there and a monument there, and and then the ball drops always. I could think of that this might not be a bad one.
Yeah, okay. I think, just one more comment about Omutnitsk. I think the situation between the United States and Russia is kind of deteriorating a little bit at the moment. But I don't see that as necessarily being fatal to what we can do. It might be a factor, but I think
all
that
the more reason to have
all the more reason,
relationship.
absolutely, all the more reason to have some contact with them. Because they're far away from Moscow. They're like us. We're far away from Washington, D.C. They're far away from Moscow. We're not very political here in Delaware. So, okay. Shall we move on to item 11, other items on the agenda? Does anybody else have anything else they would like to bring up tonight? I can say that I'm going to be really busy during the next few months, but next year, I'm quite optimistic about 2017. I feel like I will have more time myself, and I think that all the more reason to have some contact with them. Because they're far away from Moscow. They're like us. We're far away from Moscow. We're not very political here in Delaware. So, okay. that we will have a lot going on. People going to Cicada, probably people going to Baumholder, at least J. Martin soccer team is going to Baumholder. They're opening their American Museum there. I think there's a lot of
It'd be nice to
possibility.
get somebody over there for that.
Yeah, I really, we will try that.
Yeah, I have to maybe add to this one, I mentioned there is this, series there in the different, Germany and Russia and the different things that to get this program a little bit rolling, but it's probably also more likely beginning of the year that it's starting. It's just too much on the plate at the moment. But it's to get the people also a little bit on board, and but that's probably realistic too.
Mm-hmm. I think with our Sister City program, we have to have a slightly longer term perspective. I think about what this program could look like in 3 to 5 years. I know we have to do things next year, but I think about what it could look like in 3 to 5 years. So what can we build up to? It took us 2 years to get to a visit to Cicada, for instance.
Yeah. Well, one
So,
thing what we need to, or maybe two of us, with these veterans.
yeah,
You
you want to
mentioned
talk
that-
about that? Because I think that's another good angle in Baumholder,
Yeah.
of course.
But you mentioned we don't have so much time, so shall I reach out to a couple or?
If you
I
could,
know a couple of people from 4-H, look, move from there on.
yeah,
Yeah.
I believe that when the museum opens, that some people from some veterans could go to that. And I think if we knew when they were going to dedicate it, we could tell people something specific.
Okay, that probably makes sense if you give me that contact.
I will give you Ingrid's. Tonight I will send you Ingrid's contacts.
Okay.
So. So are there any other items that anyone would like to raise tonight? Okay, we'll move on to item 8, the date of our next meeting. We've been having it on the second Tuesday of each quarter. So that seems to have worked out pretty well, and that would be January the 10th in 2017. So should we take that as a day? Okay,
Here before we know it.
that's right. It's going to roll around quickly. So, all right. Well, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Erin. Is there a second?
I think it.
Okay, thank you. I don't know if we're not vote on that. Good, okay.
You stand adjourned.
Stand adjourned. Thank you. Thank you. Well, Kim, thank you very much for coming this evening.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Thank you for